Wait, what's your sexuality?
Well, it is probably going to disappoint quite a lot of people. I'm pansexual.
You're actually the first pansexual guest we've ever had on the podcast. How did you get started in the industry?
The person who hit me up originally, who got me in, as soon as I touched down, he changed up on me. He immediately throws this dropper in my face. No, he tricked me.
Does your family know what you're doing?
My mom started asking a bunch of questions. At the time, she was dating a detective. If you don't tell me what's really going on, I'm gonna have the investigation put out on you.
I heard you're also casted in Euphoria.
How do they come across your profile? We definitely saw the work that you did.
The fact that they were hitting me up on all my stuff, somebody knew who I was.
Who was the worst creator you've collabed with? Name drop him. You were there and you're like, wow, this was absolutely terrible.
God, how honest do I be here?
Welcome to the Wild Podcast Halloween edition. I'm Brandon Cardoso.
I'm the Julian Barboza.
And baby, we in Vegas.
We're in Vegas once again. Every time we come here, legendary things happen. But let's break down this trip so far. So I was in Houston. You guys have been here for like 4 or 5 days, right?
Yeah, I think like five days, about to be a week.
And we brought the other Wild Boys, Aiden and Kyle, for the first time. How was it?
I was lit. I mean, they enjoyed it. I've brought it up to them, asked them if they enjoyed Vegas, and yeah, it's just like a whole different experience. You know, it feels like almost like a dream. You know, like Vegas is so like, I like to call it like Fantasyland.
It is, and legendary things. I mean, mine and Brandon's first ever collab happened here in Vegas. And then we just did a collab with the boys as well. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. I went on a little trip. Back to Texas for a little bit.
How was that?
I had to just go home and really recharge my inner Texas cowboy, you know?
Right.
But yeah, as you guys can see, we have our costumes on. I'm Wolverine.
I'm Deadpool. And I think we're a perfect match.
This is perfect. Yeah, we have a bunch of matching costumes this year. It's really cute, really fun. All right, today we have a very special guest. Please welcome award-winning adult content creator Jayden Marcos.
Jayden, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you feeling today, Jayden?
Oh, feeling good.
Yeah, I'm glad you can make it, guys. It's a little early, but you know we're here filming and shooting. So if the energy's a little low, or Brandon, you know,
yeah. No, we just woke up. But we're here, though, you know? And once again, man, thanks for being on here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. You ever done a podcast before?
Some minor ones, yes, but nothing like this, so.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
But
nice experience.
In case the viewers don't know who you are, you want to introduce yourself to them, tell them a little bit about you?
Yeah, my name is Jayden Marcos. I'm from Central Cali, 25, 6 foot. Been in this line of work for about 5 years, roughly. Play all around the field of baseball, you know.
Okay.
And where are you from?
Central Valley, California.
Oh, you're funny as fuck. Oh, hold up, you got some on your. I got you.
Is that pizza?
A little piece on the nose.
All right, let's rewind the clock a little bit. So can you tell us about your childhood a little bit, how you grew up? What was life like when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, nothing too traumatic, you know. Parents divorced when I was like 10. Kind of tried to play that field a little bit. Dad was a little bit more strict and stiff. Mom was a little too overly caring, safety net like, you know what I mean? But nothing too terrible. Had to spend some time in like Stockton, spent some time in Modesto, which was good for me as I got older because, you know, I like cars and stuff like that. Yeah. But, you know, they have a different name for Modesto for a very obvious reason, which is half of the population living on the streets for one specific substance. If you can put the pieces together.
I do.
Okay. I do. Also, I love your voice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it gives off the voice actor in you. I feel. Have you ever tapped in with voice acting? Just want to. I know it's kind of random, but it's just I couldn't. Your voice is just so like majestic.
Well, thank you. No, I haven't really done too much of the voice acting stuff. I did one little animated movie for a studio.
Okay.
It didn't turn out great because I was like too nervous to actually just put on my voice.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't actually the first people to tell me that. Like even when I'm just ordering food to my place and I got to meet the person outside, they're like, "You have a great voice. Like, what do you do? Like, do you do voice acting?" I'm like, no, I don't. But you know, enough people tell me, maybe I have to give it a shot. You know?
Yeah, I mean, bro, it just sounds not real. Like, it just, your voice does not sound like a real voice. But I guess,
you.
I mean, that's a good thing, though, you know? It's a really unique voice.
Thank you.
So you're in the industry, of course, but how did you get started in the industry?
Oh, how I got started is a little weird, maybe. I had gotten to a point in my life where I realized like dating just wasn't working for me. Couldn't keep someone interested. I even had one specific person, as soon as we sat down on the first date, go, "I'm just here for the free meal." And I'm like, okay. And my dumbass still stayed. I don't know why. But, you know, I had some issues. So I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to get on one of the hookup sites. And it was Adult Friend Finder, the crazy one with like all the bots and stuff, you know, like you don't know if it's real or not type of thing. But I was like, it's a start. Like if I can't have a relationship, might as well just go in for like the fun part of it.
Right.
All. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before I even had a chance to use it, this dude hit me up. And of course, you have to have some photos on your profile and whatnot, right, so they know what they're getting into. And immediately hits me with a message saying, "Hey, you know, this isn't spam. I'm not a bot or anything like that. I just noticed you have a great face, a great body, and a very large package." And that's kind of just like how it all started. It was kind of a interesting approach. But I was like, yeah, we'll take it.
Wow. Well, did you well, okay, so you tap in, you ended up doing all that. Does your family know what you're doing?
They do now. They didn't at first.
Okay.
So for about the first year, I lied to my parents, and pretty heavy. I came up with the greatest excuse, at least at the time, for what I thought. You know, I was like, I can't just say like, "Oh, I work at a diner" or something like that, or like, "Oh, I'm traveling for this or that," because I'm leaving the state.
Right.
You know. So I was like, I got it. I know exactly what I got to say. So I go up to my parents and I say, "Hey, I got this new job offer. One of my coworkers, because he is here on green card or whatever, and he doesn't have like an actual citizenship, he's not able to accept it and instead threw my name out there. So now I have the opportunity to work for the judicial branch of the government as a data analytic. So my job would just be to like travel wherever they need me to go and basically take their paper documents and type them out and put them into the computer so they were digitized." And they do that with all these other people from around the states. You know, they pull them all together and we just work for a couple of days straight, putting everything in, and then they send us home with a paycheck. And it worked for a little bit. Like, it was crazy. So elaborate for no reason, but I made it work. And it was going good for a while, the lie, until my mom started asking a bunch of questions. At the time, she was dating a detective, and she was realizing things weren't quite adding up. My income shot up drastically. So she used him as a threat, basically, and said, "If you don't tell me what's really going on, I'm going to have the investigation put out on you." And I said, okay, I got it. You're right. Ma, I'm doing adult film work. And when I told her, she was sitting down at the kitchen table and she was just, you know, double clasping a cup of tea at the time. And after I told her, she goes to take a sip, and it's like the longest 5 seconds of my life for her to put it down and to actually say something. Felt like a century. But she finally does, and she goes, "Well, it's better than what I thought you were doing." And I said, "What did you think I was doing?" She goes, "Honestly, I thought you were muling drugs across the border or something." And I was like, "What?" And you weren't going to say anything. That's a real mom right there. That's a real mom. I got you.
No, that's actually crazy, man. That's insane.
So I'm curious though, what did your actual like first, I guess, shoot go like? Like, was it good? Was it bad? Like, how was it? What did it have you do?
It was a little nerve-wracking, to say the least, because there was a lot of skepticism from me before I even showed up to it.
Right.
You know, the person who hit me up originally, who got me in, the way that he approached me, it sounded like I was going to be going to San Diego for my first production. And then he said, I'm going to link you up with like the director who's going to pay you the most for it. And then once I started talking to the director, he was like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to have you come out to Arizona. And I'm like, Arizona? I thought it was San Diego. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you guys can't even get the city, nevertheless the state right. So like, what's going on here? Like, this seems so sketchy. And eventually, you know, I got him on FaceTime. I was talking to both the people and figured it all out, got some contracts sent over and things, and was comfortable enough. I was like, all right, so I'll make the flight out to Arizona. We'll do this. And the agreement was, because I was so on edge, that the director was supposed to be the one to pick me up. But as soon as I touched down, he changed up on me, and he was like, actually, I'm going to have my buddy Todd come get you. He's going to be in a blacked out Jeep Cherokee. And I said, oh, that's it. I'm sold. I'm overseas, guys. So as soon as I started approaching the vehicle and everything, I don't know why, I could have just like turned around or something at that point, but I had like a little fist packer in because I was like ready, you know, if I got to defend myself, if I got to do something, I will. And then I met the guy, and immediately he was like super chill, super cool, nice vibe. And I'm like, okay, this works. It kind of eases my mind a little bit. But then he like immediately throws this dropper in my face. It was Cialis, but he takes it and he's like, no, like, I'll show you it's not poison or anything. And he drops some in his mouth. And then I'm like, okay, well, if he was doing it, I'll do it too. And then he goes on after I take mine saying, oh yeah, you know, I take little bits of this like every single day, and I have for the last couple of years. And I'm like, no, he tricked me. He's got immunity to this now. He has a tolerance. I'm going to pass out. This is KO. I'm out. But no, then eventually like we got to the actual house, and I'm like, oh, it's legit. Okay, bet. And saw the other models, the camera crew, and like, this is cool. All right.
And the Cialis worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my first time ever taking anything of that nature. So I mean, 0 to 100 real quick. It just bah.
So you go on set. What did they have you do?
So my first scene, they actually had me as the stuffing of the Oreo that day, and I just remember the night before, I was out in the kitchen. It was like midnight at this point. And I just wanted to grab a quick bite to eat before I passed out, because we were supposed to shoot at like 8 in the morning. And I see the person I'm supposed to be working with in like a full-on suit and tie, just immaculate, saying, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm going out. You want to join? And I'm in sweatpants ready for bed like, no, I'm good. But, you know, we shoot in the morning, right? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, have fun. See you, bud. And I knock out. Then morning comes along. And the camera crew shows up. I'm ready to go. His door is still closed. And we're waiting. It's been about 30, 40 minutes at this point. They open up the door and they see him knocked out, still in bed. But he brought home a girl onto the set. Just a random person he met from the club or something like that.
Right.
And he was so out of it that he was struggling with his packages. And they ended up flipping the scene around, so I got to be the crust of that Oreo that day. And it was interesting, you know, because I had a lot of feelings going into it, because I hadn't really had a whole lot of chances, or didn't really feel like I did, to experiment before this. So this was actually my first experience with another guy.
Wow.
So I was all up in my head about it and everything. And, you know, from the first moment that we started making contact, I was like, okay, well, it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be, because I built this up in my head like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the thing. And then I was like, but it's not bad either. You know, it kind of just falls right in the middle. But then as things kept progressing and whatnot, I was like, oh, actually, no, this is really enjoyable. I like this. So by the end of the day, I was happy.
Well, actually, I just want to ask you this question. What's your sexuality?
Well, it is probably going to disappoint quite a lot of people. I always get something on my socials about it, and I've never actually said anything directly before. So sorry if you're not happy with it, but guys, I'm not gay. I'm pansexual. I like a little bit of everything.
Could you break down pansexual? Like, what is your definition of pansexual? Because you're actually the first pansexual guest we've ever had on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what pansexual really is, to be honest.
Okay, well, I mean, more or less, pansexual. It's like if you are trans, male, female, it doesn't really matter. I'm into you. For me specifically, it gets broken down a little bit further than that. I am a cross between demi and sapiosexual. Demisexual referring to me being sexually aroused if I feel there is an actual connection, like how you make me feel inside. That's what arouses me. And sapio being having to have an intellectual conversation with the individual. Got it. If I feel like you can mentally stimulate me, I find that attractive. So as long as we can have real conversations and real moments, to me, it doesn't matter what you are. I'm game.
All right, so it's just more so about his personality.
Yeah.
And the conversations between both parties.
Exactly.
So no matter how, like, so you don't have, like, when it comes to looks, like, you don't have, like, a ideal type when it comes to that specifically.
I mean,
like a 2 out of
there's a limit to that. You know what I mean?
Like a 2 out of 10 comes up to you, and then, you know, you got the energy is there. It's just
you know what? A 2 at 10 is a 10 at 2.
All right.
No.
Oh my god.
I mean, if you're like a 5 or something like that, but you have good energy and good vibes, like that's fine with me.
Okay. Yeah.
You know. But there's limits. There's limits.
I was just wondering.
Yeah.
So I'm curious though, like the journey. So you did your first male scene. When did you like start, I guess, realizing that you were pansexual?
So
was it a certain person or a certain situation, or how did you like get to that sexuality?
I think it was just kind of always there. You know, from the beginning when I was younger, my relationships never worked out with the girls. And I got into this mindset of like, God, well, you know, why aren't these working? Why aren't these working? You know what? Maybe it's because I like guys. Maybe that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Like maybe the reason why I'm not happy, why I'm not enjoying any of this is because I need something other than females.
Right.
So I was kind of in this place of like already wanting to experiment, but not really having the ability to. So then once I got into studio work and things like that, it gave me a chance to kind of branch out and feel like I could do so safely.
Right.
You know, because when you're just doing casual hookups and things like that, you don't really know what you're going to get. And say you're not into it, you don't know how they're going to act or what they're going to do.
Right.
So having all those other people around and things like that, it was like, okay, I can actually relax. And
it's a safe environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a safe environment. I can be myself and see if this is something I really enjoy. And I kind of took that to the max. I got to experiment with a lot of people and just found that it didn't really matter to me. It was just about like, hey, can we vibe out?
Right.
And from there, it's just like, yeah, like everyone's attractive. Like it's cool.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm learning a lot from you already. I just never met like we never had no pansexual guest before, so just learning all this is really interesting.
Yeah, I've been told I'm a pretty intellectual guy, so.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely tell.
No, but yeah, I love to inform people. It's great, you know.
Okay, well then I guess you being in the industry, and as successful as you are, has it affected your personal life at all?
Yes, it has. One aspect of it that people don't really talk about is that once you do it, it's not about, you don't really get to walk away from it. At that point, even if all you did was like 1 or 2 productions, it's about learning to live with it at that point. It affects anything. Like say you wanted to go out and get like a normal person job. Well, you know, the background checks will see it and it's still considered a little taboo. So people kind of have a thing about it. And it can kind of make life difficult in that aspect. But then also in the dating world, you know, if you are trying to be with someone who is not also in the same industry, it can cause a lot of, I don't want to say problems, but misunderstandings.
Right.
Because they don't realize that, 1, it is your job. That's what you're doing. And 2, you have the ability to perform this act without the sentimental attachments that most normal people are used to. You know, they associate this specific thing with the definer between a random and your partner. So for them to see you going and giving that part of you to other people can be very difficult for them a lot of the time. So trying to work around that, find the right boundaries and guidelines in order to make it work can be very hard on both people. And I will say a lot of the time it doesn't work out. So it's just something you have to keep in mind and understand that it's just not going to be easy and stress-free as you would maybe originally think.
Right.
Being single, the job is easy. Wanting something a little deeper, that's where it gets tricky.
All right, so I have to ask though, are you currently in a relationship? Are you dating somebody that does the work that you're in, or what's your situation like?
I am currently dating somebody.
Okay.
It wasn't expected, but it just kind of ended up happening.
Can we hear the story?
Yeah, I mean,
what is their sexuality, or what is their gender?
So the current partner is female.
Okay.
I had just gotten out of a relationship with a guy, and he was a little possessive and obsessive and overbearing. So I was like, I got to get away from this. I can't handle this. So I did, and then I finally got back into this mindset of like, all right, I'm just going to go back and enjoy my job. I'm going to go back and live life. I don't care. I'm going to be like the worst kind of guy, straight up dog the entire time. And then I found somebody by accident. I was just looking for hookups and ended up creating a connection with this person, and turned out that they were actually a Twitch streamer.
Oh, wow.
So that is... Yeah. It was just kind of random. It wasn't planned, but crazy things happen. You find someone you vibe with, and
That's true.
it just works.
And they don't do the work that you do?
No, they do dip their feet into the blue and white.
Okay.
But they don't do anything necessarily explicit.
Okay.
They're starting to work towards that slowly but surely. But for the most part, just the Twitch streaming. That's the main gig.
Okay.
How long have y'all been together for?
About a year.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I never thought you'd be with a streamer, to be honest. That's really interesting.
Dude, I never thought I'd be with a streamer either. I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't even watch streams like that. So to be with one, I was like, okay, this is a new experience. But the cool thing is that even though it is a different industry and a kind of different line of work, they do run in a lot of parallels. So whereas there is no like necessarily direct physical contact, there is the idea of collaborations and all the traveling and all these other aspects to it that kind of line up with like what we do.
Yeah.
So what are your like boundaries, or what are, I guess, y'all's boundaries are agreed upon, I guess, rules for your relationship, because you have to collab with other people, right? So how does that, what's the dynamic like?
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, I just got tired. I work so much for studios that as far as just personal collaborations go, kind of taking a back seat, honestly, which worked out for my partner. But the boundaries that I set is, you can do whatever you want with whoever you want, as long as you're being smart and safe and you're being transparent with me. I think the issue that a lot of people see is, be honest versus be transparent. Honesty is like, okay, I confront you about something, you're going to tell me the truth. Transparency is, I don't have to ask you the question, you're just going to tell me what's up. I think that that's something that needs to kind of be addressed. It confuses a lot of people, and it causes a lot of problems if you're not on the same page.
You hear that, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
Need it one more time repeated?
No, it's okay, man.
Okay. So I did a little research, and I believe you won some awards.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Let's get into those, man, because I hear I won't take your spotlight. Let's hear what awards you've won.
And how many of...
And if they're kind of explicit, just work around the wording.
Yeah. So the biggest one that you guys might know would be for the Gay VN Award Show that gets hosted at the beginning of every year. It was for Best Actor in a Featurette. So that was really awesome.
Okay.
I like that. And then I got a couple for some different award shows. I got Performer of the Year. And then I also got one for Favorite Package.
There you go.
I mean, at that point, like you got to own up to it. Like it must be pretty nice at that point,
If you win an award, yeah, come on. Like, like no one can ever be debating you on that one. You just got to pull it out, show them the award.
Yep, you know it. And the other ones, I can't remember off the top of my head. Honestly, I feel kind of bad about that, but those are the ones that definitely I do remember. But yeah, and what's crazy is that after winning that award, like I really did have to come to terms with the fact that like I did have a nice package,
yeah.
Because the entire time that I was going through the industry until a certain point, like a couple of years back, and all my life beforehand, I was like, it's nothing special. It's nothing special. And then when people are like, oh yeah, no, it's really nice. I'm like, no, you want this to end a little bit quicker. You're done. But then I got on to a production set one day, and they're like, no, like it's a good package. And I'm like, really? And they're like, dude, go and pull out the biggest dual-ended toy I've ever seen in my life. And they'd say, put that down there and compare. And I said, okay, I don't see why. And as soon as I did, I'm like, they're the same size. Oh my God. So I was like, okay, yeah, I do have to admit, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You ever made your own clone of Willie?
I have. I actually have a couple of those.
Wow. I can only imagine. That is crazy.
Yeah, seeing it from a different perspective has also definitely changed how I think about that, Mm-hmm. It's a lot bigger when it's like right in your face.
This guy, you're hilarious. Well, I guess since you are over here winning actor awards and all, I heard you're also casted in Euphoria. Want to tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I was cast in Euphoria. It was for the episode, the special episodes that fell between season 1 and season 2.
Mm-hmm.
The one specifically with Hunter Schafer. It was called Anyone Who's Not a Blowfish. And the way that I was asked to be there was a little interesting. I didn't believe it at first. They were messaging me on social media, my Twitter and my Instagram, and even on my Facebook, my personal Facebook. I was like, I don't even know how they got this stuff, but I was like starting to freak out because I'm like, oh, this is so fake. And then eventually got to a point where they even subscribed to me, and they were messaging me there.
Wow,
that is insane.
And I was like, this is a little over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's when my director friend at the time was like, hey, you should really reply. Like, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Guess we're doing it. So message him back and set everything up. And, the first thing they do is they want to make sure that, like, you're someone they can have on set and be cool with and vibe out with and things like that. Because Sam Levinson, the creator of the show, works a little differently than most directors would. There's like a list they go down, but he's just like, oh no, I'm gonna pull somebody off the street really quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's how in the show the drug dealer kind of got brought into it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just pulled me in. He was like, no, we just wanted to do like a quick interview with you really quick. And the interview was done with Sam, the director of the show, and Hunter Schafer. They were sitting right in front of me and just asking me questions and just seeing like what kind of person I am. And I got to kind of check their vibe as well. And they're both really, really cool people. And they just kind of looked at each other and then looked back at me and were like, we want you for the role. Like, that was it. So I was like, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I would love to do this with you guys. Like, this is such a crazy opportunity. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And
Did they ever
an experience?
Did they ever say like how they found you, or what? I guess like how did they come across your profile? Because I'm assuming, or they definitely saw the work that you did.
Yeah, the spam was crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, to be honest, I never actually got the information as to how my name ended up on their list of people to contact. But yeah, the fact that they were hitting me up on all my stuff is like, okay, somebody knew who I was. Did they maybe just think I had the right look for it or something like that? But the scene was also a very sexualized one that I was a part of. So I think in that aspect, they were like, well, we should look in that department to find someone who's already comfortable being on camera in that state.
Right.
You know? So I'm like, all right, I mean, that makes sense, but I'm still like, who knows me? Who here knows me? What's up?
That's smart on their end too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. So what was your experience with the cast all around, like everybody else there?
Everyone was so nice and kind and caring. And it was something that I wasn't used to and I felt bad about, but you know, I had to come to terms with it. It's their job. You know, people will come by and they will give you breath mints, or they will shave your face for you, or fix your hair, or put wardrobe on you themselves and things like that. And it's like you are being waited on like hand and foot. Like every 5 minutes, someone's coming through and being like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need anything?" And it was different because like I'm capable, like I can do it. I really appreciate that. If you can just direct me to where I need to go, I can take care of it. But they're like, no, like we'll do it. I'm like, all right, you're getting paid to do this today. Like you're right, this is your job. Let's do it. But the directors, everyone behind the cameras, Hunter, everyone was absolutely fantastic. Like I have heard from some of the people that other sets are not nearly as kind and caring and almost kind of like a family kind of vibe, you know, as that set was. So it was definitely surreal.
Got it.
Were you casted in any other shows after that, or even before then too, if you were familiar already with like the casting of shows?
Yeah, so I actually was supposed to be in a couple other shows. The other one that I do remember my name is The Idol. But the issue with that is that at the time I was living in Arizona, and whenever they would call and need me, I would have about a 12-hour window to be there on set and ready to go. And at the time, it just didn't seem plausible for me to make it work, so I had to turn them down. But, you know, it's not to say that I couldn't still maybe venture in that realm later on. Just wasn't my time, you know.
And do you plan on, like, are you just still focused on the industry work right now, or do you plan going deeper into the acting, or what's like your I guess play or plan?
Well, actually, I have been thinking about that a little bit. I would like to branch into the like the mainstream stuff. I'm just wondering, like, because I would like to get into it. I just want to know, like, is this career path going to affect that? But from what I understand and what I hear, me being in my line of work, I have a better opportunity than someone who does reality TV.
Why do you say that?
That's for some reason how those companies and those studios feel, because it's not real acting on the reality TV shows. It's just over dramatic, over the top stuff. And for some reason, they just aren't liked by the rest of the community. You know, I don't know why exactly, but from the people who I've spoken to, they've always said like, no, we would take you over a reality show person any day. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. I mean, my chance isn't zero. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take it.
Right. All right. So a question for you. So how did you transition from adult films to Hollywood films? How did that transition come about?
So the transition was a little different, to say the least. Again, it was unexpected, and it wasn't a realm that I was familiar with. So my level of adaptation was not exactly there to match. But I'd say I'd give myself like a 7 out of 10 as far as like my ability to jump over. I think I did okay. The days, instead of being like 6 to 8 hours long, were 15, 16 hours long.
Wow.
And I was there for 6 days straight doing that. So it was sleep and then work. And that was basically it. And as far as like what we're used to in normal studio settings, there's maybe like 3 or 4 people in addition to whoever's going to be on camera that day in the room. There, it was probably about 100 people.
Wow.
And there was maybe 40 people in a 10 by 10 room whenever the cameras were off, all having different conversations. So it got overstimulating very quickly because you couldn't really hear what anyone was saying, but you could hear everything everyone was saying, you know? So it was a change. Like the level of funds into the production is just so much higher that it feels like a different world, honestly.
Did you have any like did you have to like take acting classes, or were you already like good at acting? Like how did that, were you already good at acting, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say I'm already good at acting. I've never taken any acting lessons, but I'm sure that I could benefit from that if I chose to go that route. But yeah, everything is just all natural. So whatever I've done is, I guess, good enough for now, you know?
So according to the internet, it states that your net worth is $2 million. How accurate is that?
Oh, my net worth being $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
You can?
I could see that.
Okay. I saw it online, and, it's just, you got to believe everything on the internet, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Like, if it's on the internet, it's got to be real.
Right, yeah. It's just a random number to make up.
Another thing I saw on the internet, seems like you have some pretty high profile relationships, right?
I would say.
Can we dig into those?
I have made good friends in good places.
All right.
And I have some fairly decent networks.
So how many relationships have you been in? Because you went from like a not good relationship guy to like the relationship guy, right?
Well, let's see. In the last, I'd say 4 years, as far as relationships go, I think I've been in, I'll say 6. Wow. So it's not great, but it's not terrible. Mm-hmm. But, the last 4 years before that, I would say easily 20 or 30.
Dang.
It just, I would get to the 1 month mark with somebody and I'd be like, okay, I'm over this. We're done. Like, I just couldn't, So I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed. I think it's because all my other needs are getting met. So now it's finally like, you know what? I could use a warm pillow at night or something, like I just want a hug,
Right.
Yeah.
I can see that. So back to the money talk. When did you get like your first big paycheck? Was it doing the industry work? And then I'm curious, like, what'd you do with your first big paycheck?
Yeah, and how much?
So my first paycheck, I received after my very first trip. It was for $7,000. $7,000.
Oh, 7,000.
Okay.
The very first thing that I did was go and buy myself a car.
What car?
I got a 2002 Subaru STI.
Okay.
It was a little sedan, super tiny, but again, I was really into cars, and this was the first time that I'd actually gotten to buy like a Japanese car that I planned on working on. Mm-hmm. So when I bought it, I knew it had a bunch of problems, but I still bought it anyway. Mm-hmm. And it took me, I think, 4 months just to actually get it to run.
What, for real?
Yeah. But I finally got it to run. I fixed all the oil leaks and the taillights and all that other stuff. And yeah, that was a cool little first purchase. I was like, you know what? I got a decent paycheck. If this keeps up, it'll be good. Like, let me go and get myself a fun little car so I can actually go out and explore my hobby a little bit more.
For sure.
Now, you still have that car, or you drive something different right now?
Mm-mm. Sadly, I don't still have that car.
What car do you drive now?
Now?
Yeah, you're a car guy.
You guys are going to hate me for this one. I hate myself for this one, honestly.
Please don't say a Tesla.
No.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably a little bit worse. I drive a 2022 Kia Forte.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
I
thought you were a car guy.
Efficient. Yeah, so this is what happened, right?
Okay,
this is what happened.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I had that 02, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the issue I ran into with that one is that the LSD, like, they didn't have them available, so I would have had to like get a replacement that wasn't an exact replacement from Japan sent over, and I'm like, all that, I just got to get rid of the car.
Right.
Then I got a 2014 hatchback STI, and I had that one all modded out. It was great. I loved it until it was starting to go through its third engine in a year. So I said, all right, you know what? This was fun, but it's a little expensive. And with as much driving as I do, because I do like to drive over fly.
Really?
Yeah. So I
Me
was
too.
racking up those miles like crazy. I'm like, this car cannot handle it. It's not designed for that. And I definitely didn't add parts to make it durable for that.
Right.
So once I started hearing and seeing on my computers, like, oh, it's going to blow. The engine's going to go. I was like, all right, I got to do like a hot sell right now. Brought it into a dealership and was like, I just need something that's going to be fuel efficient real quick. I need something that's going to like last and not be too expensive. At first, I wanted a Hyundai, but they were like, we have no new cars. We only have used cars. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm buying a new car. So then I was like, well, if you guys can't help me, I'm going to go over to Kia. And they were like, we have 2 Kia Fortes available. And I was like, how much? And they're like, this amount. I'm like, okay, you know what? F it. Take my car. Let me get that. Like, I just need something. I need something because I know this car is going to give. So they actually gave me a good value for it because I brought it in just before the issue started to become too noticeable. But it was... It was a needed purchase, not a wanted purchase. So that's what I'm at. That's what I got.
As long as it takes you from A to B, that's all that matters.
Right? Yeah. At the end of the day, I will say I do miss power in my vehicle, though. I miss being put back in my seat.
Right.
You know, just
always
gas this thing, and it's literally going nowhere. And it's like, come on.
So you live here in, you said, Henderson?
Henderson,
right? Have you ever thought about moving to LA for work or acting or any of that?
I actually used to live in LA. I used to live in North Hollywood. Could not stand it. Now, given at the time I was driving a manual vehicle, that definitely contributed to my just negative feelings regarding
What else
it.
do you not like about LA?
The people.
You ever had any like weird encounters?
Tons of weird encounters. So, for instance, at the time I was driving my modded out vehicle. I just gotten done being on set, and I went back to my hotel, and I was just sitting in it while it was idling in the parking lot. And this dude comes out, and he's yelling at me. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I can't sleep. Your car, it's in my head. Like, I can't. And talking like a maniac. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm not like revving it or anything. Like, I'm just chilling in my car, like eating food, watching a show. Like, I'll turn it off in a minute. That wasn't good enough for him. So he proceeds to try to throw a rock through my windshield and breaks my taillight instead. So I hop out of the car and I'm like, what the f is the problem? And he immediately starts walking away because he sees I'm like twice his size. And he doesn't go inside. He just keeps a large distance and is yelling at me. Now, I also have my dog. And I'm walking my dog and going towards my room. And he is screaming at me, screaming at my dog. And all the other people are starting to come out of their rooms now. And they're looking down like, what is going on? What's the issue? And I finally get to my side. And he grabs one of those trash cans that they have with the ashtray. And he throws it at me. And thankfully for me, there was somebody there who was actually a cop. He was in the area at that hotel because he was a cop, actually. Really, he trains strike forces, like K9 units for like the special operations missions and things like that. He saw most of the incident go down, and he came up and was talking to his buddies that he knew in the area and stuff, and got that guy taken away. But then him and I were just like kind of bonding over, like, that dude was crazy, like throwing a trash can and stuff. Like, that's the stupidest thing ever.
Sounds like LA.
Right? Yeah. But no, and then the crazy thing is that me and him actually became really good friends, and the next night we went out and partied together. It was me, him, and a couple of his other buddies that were either like trainers for strike force people or like police officers. I just remember we got into some trouble at one point, but not really. The same guy that I was talking to, he went and decided to relieve himself on a building, and another officer caught him doing it and was having a talk with him and everything. And he was just like, okay, you guys have a great night, and just let him go. And I'm like, no way, bet. Okay. So it was a crazy experience, to say the least, but also made some cool friends out of it,
Do you ever miss LA?
No. I don't.
No. What?
No, I'll go there for work, but it's definitely not a place that I want to just spend my free time in, you know?
Definitely not for everyone.
No, definitely not.
So I want to circle back to the relationships. You know, me and Brandon, we're looking for some advice. So do you have any advice on relationships? How do you make them last? You've been through a lot. I'm assuming you have a lot of experience. We're looking for advice.
How do we last?
Yeah, how do we last?
How do you last? Well, it is very dependent on the person. So I would say the best thing that you can do to make things last is, of course, no matter what, be transparent. The biggest issue that I see that tears relationships apart isn't even necessarily something like cheating or lying or things like that. It's the lack of transparency. One of the issues that I think that I've seen a lot of is that when people are in relationships, they don't realize that when you lie or you aren't being open and transparent with people, what you're doing is taking away your partner's ability to consent to that relationship now. Whether or not you have made an issue or you've made a problem that you think might be the end of your relationship, you're not going to know if it's actually the end unless you just come forth and you have that conversation with your person. If you hold on to it and they have to find out in some other way, it's guaranteed to be like the end of it. And if it's not, make the process of repair just never ending. It's never ever going to get back to where it used to be. So the best thing you can do, even if you fuck up, is just let your person know and give them the ability to keep consenting to the relationship, to want to be with you. And if they don't, there's nothing you can do about that, but at least now you're not stressed out and wasting your time and they're not wasting theirs.
Wow. You heard that? Mm-hmm. It's one of the realest responses we've probably ever gotten on the podcast. That's one of the realest advice. And thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm,
what was like one of the hardest conversations that you had to have as far as like relationships go?
Okay, honestly, I was just kind of an asshole for this one. I said it so bluntly. I was like, I'm not stopping my job for you. It was around before you were, and it's going to be around when you're gone. So either accept that and move on or get out of my life.
And what was the result?
I moved on. That was the end of it, yeah.
And I'm just curious to know, since we're on the relationship topic, so out of all the relationships you've been in, I guess, okay, have you ever really like fallen in love? Would you say the majority of them you fell in love with them? Or do you think there's like that one person you're like, damn, like I was really in love?
Like your soulmate?
Yeah, out of all of them.
And I want to add a little more. Do you think you can have multiple soulmates?
People always make the joke and say like, oh, you have 3 loves in your life. Mm-hmm. You know, first one's like your high school love. You don't really know what it is. Second one is like a love in your 20s. You think you know what you want and that this is your person. Come to find out, like you guys want completely different things. And then, of course, your real love comes after that.
Right.
I think it's possible to love more than that. I think it's possible to fall in love in every single one of your relationships. I think it's possible to fall in love with multiple people at the same time. Have I, though?
Oh man,
I like the build up.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. Not until this most recent one. This has been my longest standing relationship, and I think there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. So I will say that I think there's a little bit more of me dedicated to this than anything else in my past.
Wow.
Do you know what it is? Like, what would you say that?
I think it's just the mutual respect and the
okay.
understanding. You know, like this is my job, and at the end of the day, like you got to let me be me and have fun, and I'm gonna do the same for you. And when we come back, we're gonna be great. Like that's it.
The transparency.
Exactly.
Got it. I want to just throw a curveball at you, but what are your thoughts on pronouns?
Listen, I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it. I'm not great with them. I don't necessarily understand it. Mm-hmm. I will do my best to respect your desires, but if I mess up, do not get angry with me. I will immediately do it on purpose. I will mess up on purpose if you get mad. Because now you're not respecting me. It was an accident. If we can't accept that and move on, then we're just going to have problems, and that's how it is.
Has anything like that happened to you before where like you went about calling someone something and they're like, what the why'd you just call me that?
Yeah.
Like a she?
Yeah.
Or he?
It was...
Or they?
It was a person with female genitalia, and they like to go by they, them, and I ended up calling her set a she, not even her, just her equipment, and that started a fight on set. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be here anymore. Bye. And I just left.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, all right, like,
if you don't know, you don't know. You got to make it known which one to be called. You know, I think that's really important.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take it that serious, you know what I mean? Of course. Like, if that person wants to really be like, hey, I'm they, like, you got to make it known that, like, not a lot of people will get that.
And the thing that I think people who decide to go that route need to remember and realize, too, is that just like with religion, not everyone has the same beliefs. Not everyone has the same respect for the same things that you do. Something you need to keep in mind is that not everyone is going to respect your pronouns. It's not something they wish to do. It's not something they want to do. It's not part of what they believe. It's something you have to accept. You can't get mad over it when someone doesn't see you, you know, because there's so many other people in the world. Like, just be you, move on from it. Sticks and stones, you know.
All right, man. I like throwing the curveballs. I'm gonna throw you another one, okay? I'm gonna put you on the hot seat.
All right, what you got?
Just based off of talking to us real quick, because you like intellectual conversations. What would you rate each of us 1 through 10?
Be honest.
You can go with him first.
I'm gonna give you a 7.
Why?
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you an 8.
Why
Damn.
7? Why 8? And then I guess what is like our best features?
So, all right.
Why
best
does he get a
features?
7?
Him. It's this portion of his face right here, his eyes and his eyebrows and everything. It looks amazing. You kind of have like this Bruno Mars look,
Okay.
and it's very nice and appealing to look at. For me, the reason why it's lower, you're a little bit taller than me. It's not something that I quite enjoy.
Oh, okay.
So that aspect is there, and you are in good shape. But I like to see like some tone definition. So that's why it's a 7. You're a good-looking person.
Thank you.
It's just I want a little bit more beefcake. That's it.
I see. Totally understandable. Yeah, okay.
Wait, how much do you weigh?
There's a 7.
Me?
Yeah.
I weigh 185 right now.
Okay.
So I just cut from 200.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was big. I didn't do it the right way, so I was a little fluffy too. I wasn't attracted with myself either. I was like, ooh, that's a little much. But and then
Back to my rating, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about him?
Yeah.
You
Break me down.
Your hair, I'm a huge fan of the curly hair.
Thanks.
I like that. You are at a good height for me personally, and you do have a bit more of a broader shoulder set. So I'll say, you know, it's an 8. I think the jawline is just maybe a little too narrow for me personally.
Okay.
But you are attractive as well. I like it.
Okay. I like that. Thank you, man.
I love the details, descriptive, like of everything. Like I love that. Like
Yeah,
you really, when you told us to stand up, like he was analyzing, like some AI shit. Like you were really like analyzing the fuck out of it. It's like, yeah, but if your nipple's more like to the left, like I'll give you that, you know. But
Yeah.
I like that.
No, it's just I wanted to be accurate with it. I wanted to let you guys know, you know.
I mean, I said be honest, you know, so maybe it was
Yeah.
my fault. But hey, you know what? No, that's good. Okay, cool. I fuck with it. It's 1 point off.
So okay, in turn then, what would you guys rate me?
You want to go first?
You're not going to get mad, right?
I mean, at this point, I mean, no, you're good.
Okay. Can you stand up again?
Yeah, absolutely.
But like a 360 this time.
Oh yeah, we have to do 360.
And can we get like an ab flash real quick?
Yeah.
360. The tattoos.
Oh yeah. Oh my, hey, such a man. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you an 8, man. Not just because you gave me an 8, but you know, you're pretty big, masculine, pretty intellectual, sound smart, have good conversations.
Well, thank you. I'll take that.
And the voice.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
Julian took my shit. All right, look. I'm gonna give you a 7, not because you gave me a 7. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Nah, yeah, no, you're definitely up there for sure. I'll give you an 8 for sure. I'll also match with that one. I think it's the tattoos too. Like, I think it really like makes you look really like, you know, strong and tough. Besides the muscles too, and then your abs, of course. Like, what can't you do? Like, I feel like you're just good at everything. The favorite eggplant award. You're huge. Tattoos, glasses too.
I can't parallel park. No.
Well,
I mean, I don't know, man.
now you're up there for sure.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. No, this was a really informative podcast. I learned a lot from it.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of learned a little bit more about myself too. So thank you guys.
All right, man. I feel like now is a perfect time to segue to another segment. We have fan advice. I feel like you're really good at giving advice as well, so hopefully you can help us out with this.
Fan advice.
Yes, we got questions submitted by the fans, and we want you to answer them.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, let's get
Let's
it.
hear it.
So the first question is, I've identified as gay my whole life, but I recently found myself attracted to women. What does that mean for my identity?
Why? What do you mean your identity? Why does your preference have to play an effect in who you are? Mm-hmm. I think that's a line you need to kind of draw. Your sexuality does not define who you are. Just because you like men doesn't mean that now represents you. Like, how you decide to go about life is that. So if you're now finding you like women, I think you should just accept it and realize it is a part of who you are. It doesn't change who you are. I mean, technically it changes who you are, but not like who you are. Do you know? We all like to have fun, and now that you like to have fun, it just opens up your options. That's really it. It's a positive.
I agree.
All right, guys, we got segment 4 now. All right, we got juicy questions. So basically, we're all gonna take turns answering asking juicy questions. So the first one, is it you or is it me?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, so Joan's gonna ask you a question. We're all gonna take turns.
All right,
Brandon. So I just want to know, what is my best and my worst feature?
Damn, your best and your worst feature?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see a worst, but if I gotta come up with one, probably your stinky feet. It smells really bad. I'm not kidding. It really does. But
my best.
But your best feature, I want to say hair, but I feel like that's what a lot of people say. So I want to do something different. Probably your eyes.
My eyes?
Yeah. Just the way it looks at me, it's just like mesmerizing.
the way you smile like that, he likes that.
Yeah. Nah, but he does this thing.
Said my eyes.
Nah, Julian does this thing with his eyes, like it almost hypnotized. Can you do that? Like the thing with your eyes, the
the little like shaky.
Yeah.
Thingy, like
do you see that?
Oh yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, all right, guys. Okay, I'll just be over here. We guys both trying to hypnotize me or some shit. This is crazy. All right, my next here. Let me pull it up here. All right, my juicy question is actually for you, Jayden. So, who is the worst creator you've collabed with? And name drop him. The worst creator you've collabed with. You were there and you're like, wow, this was absolutely terrible. Never again.
God, how honest do I be here? Ooh. Like, cause I already know who it is, but like, fuck.
Oh, they came straight to the mind.
All right, yeah, it was Adam Albright.
Adam Albright.
How come?
Well, it was almost like he was treating it like a date, and then like it's just it was like an obsessive nature, and then on top of that, like I don't really like my nipples to be played with too much, and he decided to like create a whole thing for like 10 minutes of that on me, and I'm like, boundaries. But no, it was just, yeah, that was not what I wanted at all. Yeah, I don't even really know how much or how to say it like that. It's just, it wasn't a good experience. The vibe was completely weird. It was like this overbearing, obsessive, like
Wait, so
fan
during
kind of
the
nature.
during the collab, he was like obsessed, like happy to okay. I could see that.
It wasn't just that though. Like there's a difference between like being excited and then like hey like you know what I mean?
Sweating.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it was starstruck, kind of like
Yeah, like a fan, not a coworker.
coworker.
He wanted you.
More than wanted.
Like he to himself.
Yeah, I was a little like yeah.
Yeah. But it's okay though. We all got worse collabs. We all do. And so it happens, you know what I mean? It's nothing bad.
Thankfully I haven't had anything like too crazy. You know, there's some times where like, oh, someone let a fart slip or like it's shit happens.
That's true, it does.
All right, so my question for you guys is, it seems like you guys have a very perfect relationship on screen. So what is something behind the scenes that you can tell us about?
You're looking at me like
Something that no one
I'll
knows.
go first. I'll go first.
Shit. Okay, go ahead.
Something that nobody knows. Okay, I feel like y'all probably not gonna like this answer, but I feel like people think that like the way we are on camera is different than we are off camera, but it's really the same. Like we live together, we have a podcast together. There's this fan page that actually always posts us all the time, and shows us living normal life, like how we are. I think how we are on camera is how we are off. So I think that's a big misconception. Like people think, oh, you guys only do this on here. And if you guys go see I guess we have to live stream so you guys can see like how we are off camera, but really like everything we do on camera is how we are off camera. And I think that's why the chemistry and just how we flow works.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, to be honest, yeah, that's basically that. I mean, you just let it out. You just let everything out. So at this point, there's not much else to say. But yeah, everything is the same. And yeah, not much too crazy of a secret. It's just we just the same. You know, we tongue kiss too, but that's
just not on camera.
Yeah.
Ooh, cooties.
All right, Joan. So here's my juicy question for you now.
Let's hear it.
Look, you went to Houston without me. What happened while you were there? And be honest if you cheated on me or not.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I went to Houston right before I came to Vegas. Like I said, I have to go back home every month or so to really like just get a break from LA and go back to my roots. But did I cheat on you? I mean, I was FaceTiming you when I was like
you were
there and snapping you and calling you guys, and I was even telling I missed y'all because I really did. I missed my team.
I want to see if we could find this photo too. You sent me a little photo just for memory. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Look. He looked like a little I miss you. I don't know if you can see this, but he sent me like a little heart. Like he misses me, you see? Mm-hmm. So
yeah. But I know for your reassurance you want to know if I cheat on you or not, but I didn't cheat.
What's on the other side of that bed? No.
It's like high on the covers every time you FaceTime me, and then whenever you hang up, you're like, all right, come out. Like whoever was there under the bed. Like sneaky.
Nah.
I believe him. I know when he lies or not. So you looked at me directly in my eyes. You told me the truth. Yeah. I know when you lie.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. So
yeah.
I think you're good.
But I will say, I hope you can reciprocate that energy in these coming weeks. There's gonna be a lot of boys over at the house.
Oh, I see.
The Braxtons, the Brads, the Samirs. Coming up soon, so I hope you could reciprocate that.
Yeah, I'll make sure that everything is under control this time. I know what happened in the yacht was a lot of
right, and what happened in the steam room.
Yeah, I know.
So just don't be wandering off with.
No, I won't. Okay, I promise.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll be set. As long as you're with me, man. I'm telling you, as long as you're with me, there's no way that Brad will, because sometimes look, you could put the blame on me for entertaining it, but the ones who started though. Mm-hmm. Brad does kind of, get on me.
Yeah, he's the pursuer.
Yeah. Like Brad be like teasing me and all that shit, but it won't happen.
All right, Jayden. Well, we got through all the segments. Next, guys, we're gonna be heading over to Patreon. We can ask some more wild questions, and just let it all out. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, it's gonna be wildthings.vip/Patreon. That's where we're gonna continue the rest of the episode. But of course, before we go, Jayden, you want to plug your socials?
Yeah, Twitter is Jayden Marcos XX and Instagram is Jayden.Marcos. And then TikTok is Jayden Marcos XX. Just 2.
Go check it out.
Make sure you guys go check them out. Want to shout yours out real quick, Brandon?
Oh yeah, of course. wildthings.vip/Brandon Cardoso. Make sure to go check out all the socials.
And mine is wildthings.vip/Julian. Go check it out. Other than that, guys, make sure you guys go check out the Patreon. We'll see you there. It's the Wild Boys, and we out.
Peace.